Hi there, this is Srikant. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about the various basics of computer hardware. Okay, so this is going to be our agenda for this session. So identifying the various major components of a personal computer and major components of a system unit, various storage devices, and various personal computer connection methods. Okay, so let's move on to the second slide here. Okay, so the primary categories of computer components are divided into four parts mainly. The first one is system unit. The second one is display device, display devices or VDUs. Okay, visual display unit. And third one is input device. And fourth one are external peripheral devices. Okay, so this is going to be the a normal picture of an old school computer. Okay, so modern days no one is going to use these kind of monitors here. Excuse me. So modern days no one is going to use these kind of monitors here. So like this, something like this. Okay, so everyone uses a CRT monitor. So this is considered as a display device, and this is known as a CPU. Okay, so central processing unit or system unit. So all these devices like speakers and printers are considered as external devices, and we have mainly two input devices for every personal computer. That is, one is a keyboard and the other one is mouse. Okay, so one is keyboard and the other one is mouse. So next, so this is the cross section of a system unit or central processing unit, CPU. So on the very top left hand corner, if you view it from this side, we have power supply. Okay, so and followed by we have a processor, and processor is always supported by a cooling device, fan, since it's very essential to since it executes millions of instructions per second. So it's very essential to cool the device often. Okay, so the system might not work if the cooling device fails. Okay, so and then we have various ports to connect devices. Okay, like hard disks and CD drives, floppy drives, and so on and so forth. And we have PCI slots to insert the various cards or adapters here. Okay, so if you want, you can add some additional cards for like graphics card to get some additional functionality. So in the right hand side we have slots for disk drives. Okay, so first one, CD compact disk drives or rewritable drives, DVD drives. Okay, and then followed by we have a stack of hard disks chassis which supports the hard disks. Okay, so apart from all this, apart from the processor, power supply and drives, and another main thing is the memory. Okay, somewhere around here in between, if you follow this arrow mark, we have a memory chip. Okay, it's also commonly referred to as RAM stick. Okay, so RAM stick comes with the size of mostly 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB individual, and if you have two 4 GB sticks, and you get together 8 GB of memory. Okay, so which is very essential for executing the programs in a faster manner. Okay, so RAM followed by cache memory is also very essential. So if you're going to buy a system, so first you will ask how much RAM it has, or how much the capacity of, what is the capacity of hard disk or like that. Okay, so if you're giving some specifications or configuration to buy a PC, so these are all the things we need to keep in mind. Okay, so have a good RAM like 8 GB or like 6 GB or something like that, so your system will work faster. Okay, and also have a good processor like i3 and i4, sorry, i5, i3 or i5 or i7 or something like that. And also you should keep in mind that so the RAMs are dependent on the system architecture. Okay, so if you are using a 32-bit processor, so your RAM cannot your processor cannot access more than 4 GB of memory. Okay, so that's the reason behind that, is that 2 power 32 is equivalent to 4 GB. Okay, so that's the reason you're not allowed to have more than 4 GB RAM, or even though you have, it's not useful in the case of the 32-bit system architecture. So if you are saying that if you have good enough money to buy higher end RAM, so you need to go for a 64-bit processor. Okay, so processors are mainly classified into two types. The first one is 32-bit processor, and then we have a 64-bit processor. The 64-bit processor is the most recent version of that processor. Okay, so next we will move on to a display device. Okay, so this is a very quite common output device in a computer system, is what we call as a display device. Is the most standard output device. Apart from a display device, we also have a printer, which is not that commonly used. If you want a hard copy of whatever the documents or work or code or output or the diagrams, you need to have a printer if you want a hard copy, or if you want to just view your data or do some modifications on that data. So normal display devices like a monitor, which is shown in the diagram, is good enough for doing all those tasks. Okay, so next we have an input device, which is very quite common thing these days, a keyboard. Okay, the keyboard comes mainly in two forms. The one is PS2. Okay, and also the USB keyboard. We also have a USB keyboard, which is very commonly used these days. Okay, so PS2 keyboard mainly sets for desktop computers, and USB keyboards are normally used for both desktop and also for the laptop. Okay, so next we have various several categories of external devices. Okay, so mainly the input devices and output devices we have just seen, and whatever if you want some extra functionality, so as shown in the diagrams in this slide, we have various external devices like a microphone, a good microphone. If you want to talk to someone, or if you want to sing a song, record a song, something like that, you need a good microphone, which has some USB support to plug into the computer and record your voice, and so on and so forth. And if you want to plug in some printers and speakers and card readers and or routers or all those things, networking devices like routers, switches and gateways and all those things, so you need all these external devices, which one has its own capabilities and its own services to give some good choice to the user to perform the functionality according to the device. Okay, so and then we have the system unit itself has various sub-components, such as the system unit. Okay, the system unit has several sub-components in it. They are mainly system board, the first one, central processing unit, a memory, as we have just discussed, which is nothing but a RAM, a system bus, and a storage device. Okay, so these are the main components inside the system unit. Okay, so then we have what is a system board. Okay, so just we have seen what is various components available in the system unit. The first we are going to see the system board. Okay, the system board is also known as motherboard. Okay, so this is the main component inside the system unit. Okay, so on this motherboard, all the basic devices like processor, RAM slots, you have RAM slots as shown in this diagram. The RAM sticks are inserted inside this RAM stock, and also device to interface to connect various disk drives. We have this disk drive interfaces here, ports are there, SATA or IDE or something like that. Okay, and also we have some AGP slot here, and have various ports to connect the external devices like USB ports, display VGA port here, it's there, LAN port is there to connect to the internet, and so on and so forth. And also we have some expansion slots here to insert some cards like graphics card and so on and so forth, to have some external functionality. Okay, so once again, the system board is also considered as the motherboard. Okay, the system board is also considered as the motherboard, where all the main components of the system hang over to this board. Okay, so next we will move to the processor components. Okay, so these are sometimes called central processing unit, sometimes called just a microprocessor. It's also considered as the brain of the computer. Okay, it's one of the key component where it handles all the calculations or whatever the instructions you are giving, executes all the instructions and converts into and understands the machine language, which is the only language understood by the computer. Okay, so whatever the programs you are writing in Java or C or C++, all those things at the end of the day are converted into machine language, and they are fed into the processor for execution. Okay, And then we have a memory, a RAM stick. Okay, so RAM stick is considered, okay, can be considered as either volatile or non-volatile. Okay, so mostly the RAM sticks are non-volatile only. The power, as soon as the power is lost, the data is erased. Okay, it's also known as the temporary memory. When the system is on, the operating system is loaded from the disk to the RAM device, and also whatever the programs you are going to execute or use the memory based on the RAM stick only. Okay, so CPU, sorry, the system bus. Next, the most important thing inside a CPU computer is a system bus. Okay, so it's a main communication path between the CPU and the memory. Okay, so CPU is nothing but a processor, and we have a memory, and there should be some path for communicating between these two devices, which is nothing but the system bus. Okay, system bus. If you observe in this diagram, so there are almost all the devices are connected to the system bus in a bidirectional manner. Okay, so for example, if memory wants to if memory if takes, or if a CPU wants to send some data to the memory, okay, so it's put into the system bus, and memory takes from that system bus and uses stores inside the memory. In the same way, if CPU needs some data from the memory, it asks the system bus, and whatever immediately sends the request through the processor, and the memory puts the data in the system bus, and that data is handled by the CPU. So that's the reason all the connections are here are meant bidirectional. Okay, are meant bidirectional. And next we have the quite common storage devices like a hard disk drive. Okay, HDD. Okay, it's a standard device for storing the data in the personal computer. So hard disks are again mainly classified into two types. One is SATA hard drive, SATA, which is most modern one, and also we have a older hard disks based on IDE. Okay, IDE pins. Okay, and then we have a power supply, which is the internal computer component, converts the AC. So whatever the power in our house we are using is a AC power, so we need to give that AC power is not efficient, or it's not useful for the devices or the components stored inside the computer system, so they need to be given some in the form of a DC. Okay, so that's the duty of the SMPS, which is also known as a power supply unit, to convert whatever the AC power in the mains or in the house we are using into. So if you want a processor which needs a 9 volts, or if you want a RAM which needs some 10 volts, so like this, so power should be shared, or it converts into DC and gives whatever the power required for the devices to run. Okay, so that's the duty of the SMPS. Okay, so also we have several list of the components here, main components that requires for the cooling. Okay, that requires cooling, power supply, some adapters. Okay, it contains several components that require cooling. The computer case is there, overall the case, and also the CPU is there, the power supply is there, some adapters are there, some hard disk drives are also there. These are combined all together. Components are known as a single system unit. Okay, single system unit. Okay, and apart from that, we have discussed in the very beginning, there are some PCI slots, and we have PCI slots and PCI bus, and various adapter cards like sound card, or which is built into CPU most of the time. And also if you want some graphics card, if you want some additional functionality, so if you want some additional functionality, you need to use this particular adapter card here. Okay, so in the same way, we have a riser card. It's not that used more often in the computer system. Okay, so it's another important card to be provided. Okay, so and then we have various types of system boards here. Okay, so full size AT, BB80, ATX, micro ATX, LPX, NLX, and BDX. Okay, so depending upon the size and shape of the system board, these are the classifications of various system boards available here. Okay, so and then we have various types of storage devices known as floppy disk drives, which are outdated and became a legacy almost. No one uses the floppy disk drive these days, and the most commonly used storage device in the computer system are hard disk drives. Okay, so optical drives are also often used, and tape drives and solid state drives are also outdated, and no one getting to use those kind of devices. Okay, So floppy disk drive, it's a kind of outdated thing, no one uses. Okay, so just to learn about olden days, they used to use this floppy disk drive, like how we use pen drives and or flash drives or something like that, hard drives, external hard drives. In those days, there are no CDs and no external hard drives and no pen drives available. The only thing they have to move around the data from one system to another is using the floppy disk drive. Okay, so floppy disk drive is normally of 3.5 inches in size, and it has almost about 1.4 MB of storage. Okay, just to store some small amount of data. Okay, and then we have we can have internal hard drive. So hard drive is a quite common storage device. It has a huge amount of data which is fixed to the system, fixed inside the system, which is not movable, and data is stored permanently in the hard disk drive. Okay, so and also we have what we call 500 GB is minimum size for the hard disk drive actually. Okay, and also we have 1 TB, 2 TB, and depends upon the latest advancements in the hard drive, we have up to 2 TB, 4 TB, and also so many advancements are happening in the hard disk drive world also. Okay, so and then we have compact disk drives, which was a revolution at the time of late 90s and early 2000s. Okay, so people used to store some movies or songs in that form of MP3 format and plug into the external DVD drive or internal compact disk drive or combo drive, something like that, to just to watch some movies, or if not the movies, they can also move around data also, like word files or text files or so on and so forth. And we have, instead of using a floppy drive, CD gives CD drive gives CDs give more storage. Okay, like 700 MB for a typical CD-ROM, and also for 4.7 GB for a typical DVD-ROM. Okay, so next, these are the various classifications of disks and drives in optical world. So the first one is CD-ROM, which is nothing but the name of the disk. Okay, CD-ROM, read-only memory. Okay, compact disk, read-only memory. CD means compact disk here. Okay, so CDR, it's readable, CD rewritable, DVD-ROM, DVD read-only, DVD digital video disk. Okay, so it's the full form of the DVD, which also have some categories like DVD-ROM, DVD-R, and DVD-RDL, DVD-RW, DVD-R plus, and DVD-RAM. Okay, so these are the various classifications of the optical disk drives available out there. And then we have a tape drive, which is quite outdated. Okay, so completely the VHS kind of technologies, or just by the late 70s, the people stopped using this kind of technologies, and maybe up early 80s they might have used. Okay, and also solid state drives like pen drive, thumb drive, or flash drive, or memory cards, SD card, micro SD card. So many devices are there. Okay, so if you want to plug in this small, put some data and plug that what we call micro SD card or SD card inside your cameras or mobile devices, and use them around and take some pictures, or again in turn you can take out that micro SD card and plug into the card reader, and you can store the data inside your computer. Okay, so these are the various components inside the PC, like ports, various PC connection components. Okay, ports are there, personal computer connections are there, serial connections are there, parallel connections, USB connections, universal serial bus, firewire, which is outdated, no one is going to use. So out of all these things, USB is the most common thing used. Okay, and also parallel ATA, serial ATA, SATA. Okay, serial ATA, parallel ATA. Okay, and also small computer systems, SCSI drives are also quite famous in the early late 90s and early 2000s. Okay, so and then we have various ports identifier. A port is a hardware connection interface or a personal computer that enables the devices to be connected to the computer. Okay, so port is nothing but a hardware connection interface. Okay, so here we have various kinds of ports. Okay, so PS2, which is used to as quite common, 6-pin connectors, which used to connect the mouses and keyboards and so on and so forth. And also we have 25-pin connector and a 15-pin D-shaped connector, which is quite commonly used for VGA. Okay, VGA. Okay, So this is the overall outlook of the back of the CPU of a personal computer connection. Okay, so attach the various components you can attach, like LAN, you can plug in speaker devices to speaker port, and also VGA port, LAN port, power supply plug-in. Okay, so all these things are very quite common. This is the USB connector here. This is a cable, power cable, okay, or VGA cable or USB cable, and this is the fan for the CPU, and this fan for the SMPS. Okay, the power supply, which we have seen in the earlier slide. Okay, so and then we have, and also we have various serial connection ports, which is a personal computer connection that transfers data one bit at a time over a single wire. Okay, so this is the example of a serial connection here. Okay, excuse me. So next we have parallel connections. So serial connections are parallel connections differ from a serial connection, in which in a personal computer connection that transfers 8 bits at a time over 8 wires. Okay, so it's quite parallelly the data is sent, which is more faster when compared to the serial connection. Okay, so and also we have USB connections, which is very quite common these days. USBs are connected in two ways, type B and type A. So type B is mostly plugged to the device. Okay, device side we have a type B type of connection. Okay, and also we have a type A type of connection to the system. Okay, on the back of the system we have USB ports, so we need to plug that into the system CPU. Okay, so and then we have a firewire, which is also quite often used. Okay, quite often used in the older systems. Apple systems, like Apple computers, used to have a firewire port which come along with the Apple computer. Okay, and then we have a SCSI drive, SCSI connector, SCSI cable to connect the SCSI drives. Okay, it's a personal computer connection that connects the internal and external components of a computer system and provides a high-speed data transfer. Okay, so and also we have a PATA connection, which is a computer connection, provides a parallel data channel from disk controller to the disk drives. Okay, so it's one type of connection. Like SCSI also have PATA, and also SATA connection. It's most widely used connection for disk drives in these days are SATA connection, serial ATA connection. Okay, so we all the device disk drives are available today in the market, or SATA drives on. Okay, so this is all about the various computer components, hardware devices, and various connections available to the personal computer. Okay, so if we quickly review as a summary what we have learned until now, in this session we have learned about the primary computer components, like display device, a system unit, input device, and external devices. And also we have looked into the various major computer components like system unit, system board, and memory bus, and storage devices, and also various storage devices like floppy disk drive, hard disk drive, optical drives, tape drives, and solid state drives or SCSI drives. And also we have seen about the various PC connections like serial ATA connection, parallel ATA connection, USB connections, firewire, PATA, and SATA connections. Okay, so this is all about the introduction to the computer components and various hardware devices and system connections. Okay, so hope you like this video tutorial or lecture or screencast. So give your valuable feedback in the form of comments on the YouTube, and give a thumbs up if you like the tutorial, and see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.